Hello everyone, welcome to our YouTube channel Electronics Maddie. In this video I am going to demonstrate simulation of incremental conductance MPPT for solar PV array with boost converter in MATLAB Simulink. In case you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do subscribe to it so that you'll be getting the videos that we post regularly. Alright, let's get started. So this is the MATLAB model of incremental conductance MPPT system for solar PV array with boost converter. So what is this model all about? At the first place, this is our solar module. So we basically have four solar cells with a voltage rating of 3 volt connected in series. So 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 will give you 12 volt at this terminals. I am giving it to a boost converter, and consequently it is designed such that you get around 120 plus voltage at the output terminals. So this is the MPPT system. So MPPT stands for maximum power point tracking. So it is a technique that is used to ensure that maximum power is being transmitted from the solar PV array such that the utilization of solar PV array is maximum. So how do we interface? So there are various algorithms at the first place. Incremental conductance is one of those algorithms, and I'll be explaining this only with respect to incremental conductance. However, there are other techniques with respect to MPPT systems as well. At the first place, what we will be doing is an MPPT system is used to ensure that the switching pulses to the switch that is used over here, the MOSFET, will be adjusted such that it ensures that maximum power is being tracked from the solar PV system that we have, and consequently the output voltage will be increased to a value suitable to the requirement. So how do we build such a system? I'll be going with this video in a very slow fashion so that everyone will be able to understand the implementation of such type of a system. Before that, we need to understand the algorithm at the first place. So this is the algorithm with respect to incremental conductance method. At the first place, we need to take the output voltage V and the current I from the solar PV module, basically the interfacing of the series connection of solar cells. Consequently, delta I, the change in current, and delta V will be determining, that is I of t minus I of t minus delta t. This is the previous value, and this is again the previous value. So the difference is being determined, and consequently if delta V is equal to 0, it'll have yes or no. If it is yes, then it goes to this particular loop. If it is no, it comes to this loop. Delta I by delta V, this is nothing but the conductance value. So conductance is nothing but the reciprocal of resistance. V by I is resistance, isn't it? So I by V is nothing but conductance. So change in delta I and delta V, if it is equal to minus of I by V, you will be coming into this particular loop. So if it is yes, then it will decrease V reference. If it is no, it will increase V reference. So again, if this is no, it comes back to this loop where delta I is equal to 0. It will compare if delta I is greater than 0. Yes, it increases the V reference. No, otherwise it will decrease the V reference. Consequently, it will get the values and it will return the values that is obtained. One of the most important things is you can implement it in multiple ways. I'll be explaining it with respect to writing code in the MPPT function. So I'll be calling a function at the first place, and within that function I'll be writing this code. How do we correlate this algorithm with this code is the big question that you might have. So I'm calling this function as d, which is basically the output that we will be obtaining from the function, and that is equal to MPPT. I'm labeling the name of the function as MPPT, and these are the variables: capital V, capital I, small I, and d. So V is nothing but the previous value, I is not, small I is nothing but the previous value, capital values are the instantaneous values that are obtained. So once you understand these things, d is nothing but the duty ratio, that is for 0.58 we are initially setting it up. So you can change these values as well. So dv, nothing but change in the voltage, that is V minus V. We are first doing this, so V minus V, previous value, and again di is equal to I minus I. So we are doing this, we are implementing directly in a form of a code. If dv is equal to 0, what happens? It checks for the other condition. Again, there is another if condition that is placed. If again di is equal to 0, that is change in current, and if it is equal to 0, then the value of d, that is 0.58, will be assigned to the output of the function, that is capital D, and it will be coming out of the loop if it is satisfied initially. Otherwise, what happens? It goes to the else statement and it checks again. There is another if statement within that. So di greater than 0, that is this particular portion. So it again increments or decrements the value of d by 0.05. So this value you can choose based on your requirement. So I've chosen it to be equal to 0.05. Again, it will end the statement in case this is satisfied. Otherwise, what happens? There is another if condition over here with respect to this. Di by dv is equal to I by v. Then d will be assigned to the value of d will be assigned to capital D, else it will go to the if condition again, that is di by dv is equal to I by v, and it increments or decreases the value of v reference, that is basically the duty ratio that we will be adjusting with respect to the switch. So d is equal to d plus 0.05 and d is equal to d minus 0.05. Again end the statement and it will come out of the loop, and this will be generating the pulses. The value of d will be basically the pulses, will again be comparing it with a repeating sequence. I'll show you in the model. So this is the code that we have to write, so be very careful with respect to the code, and you have to be very careful with respect to the statements, else, and you need to have, even if you miss one end, again it will throw you an error. So once you understand the algorithm and code, it is very simple, guys. I'll go to MATLAB and start the simulation over there. Let's go to MATLAB. Alright, here we are in MATLAB. Click on Simulink library browser. At the first place, we will be searching for the components that we want. So first, let us build a solar module with respect to our circuit. So what are the blocks that we want? We need a constant block. So search for constant and add that block over here. So once that is added, we will be requiring a solar cell, so which is basically the heart of our PV solar module. So search for solar cell and add this block. Once this is added, so carefully observe, this is blue in color, and all the other blocks are in black in color. So the blue ones are basically physical systems, they are associated with real world, so we need to convert them in a form that is suitable for the MATLAB and that is Simulink to accept. So how do we do that? We have a Simulink converter. So basically search for converter, and you will be getting various converter options. So scroll a little down. Once you search it, you will be scrolling it a little down, and you will be getting it over here. You have PS to Simulink converter and Simulink to PS converter. That is basically physical system to Simulink converter. PS stands for, again, Simulink to PS physical system converter. So I'll be adding both of them. Both of them are required. I'll be explaining you the requirement based on the context that we are doing it. So once this is done, we will be requiring a voltage sensor in order to measure the output voltage. So search for voltage sensor and add this block. And once this is also added, we'll be requiring a current sensor. So search for current sensor and add that block as well. So once all of these are added, we'll be requiring an electrical reference, which is basically the ground for a circuit. So if you don't have this, again it will throw you an error, so be very careful with respect to it. And once all of these are added, we'll be requiring a scope in order to see the waveform. So search for scope and add this block as well. Again, we need a variable resistor, so search for variable resistor, and it will be available right at the bottom over here. Add this block, and once all of these are added, we will be requiring a solver configuration block, which is basically acting as a compiler with respect to blue systems. So this is very important. If you don't have this block, then it will throw you an error with respect to the model that we have simulated. So once this is done, we also need a PowerQueue block because we're using Simulink systems as well. So it again acts as a compiler with respect to the black blocks that are there. When I say black, these are the black ones that are there. So add this block as well. So we have added the blocks with respect to the solar PV modules. At the first place, let us start with constructing that. I'll be placing them in appropriate position so that we can get started. So once that is done, let us focus on the next part of the circuit. So I'll be placing the constant right at the top over here, and I'll be placing the solar cell in this particular fashion. So I will be double clicking on the solar cell, and if you carefully observe, there are these are the ratings that are specified. I'll be changing the open circuit voltage to 3 volt, and I'll have to give an irradiance of about 1000. That is basically the radiation that is applied to the PV solar cell so that it absorbs the energy that is there from the sun. So I'll be giving 1000. So we need to give 1000. How do we give it? We give it through this block for this particular terminal. So be very careful while observing each of these parameters. So once this is done, I'll be clicking on OK. What I'll be doing is I'll be connecting 4 such blocks. So copy paste them. So I'll be placing one underneath the other in this particular fashion, or you can also have three blocks with 4 volts each. So it basically depends on the practically available solar cell, so you can connect them based on the requirement. So once that is done, we will be connecting them in series in this particular fashion, that is end-to-end connection, and it comes back from this point through this. I'll be connecting that later. So double click on this, set the irradiance value. This is basically the irradiance that we need to measure, give the value to. So I'll be entering 1000 because of the ratings. Now if you see, I'll directly try to connect this and this, it will not connect. It is because this is a Simulink system, this is a physical system. So I need a Simulink to PS converter at this position. So connect this at this point, give it to this position. The irradiance required for all the solar cells is the same because the rating that we have chosen is the same. So give that value over there. So once this is done, we will be requiring a variable resistor, isn't it? So connect this in this particular fashion between these two terminals. So it acts as the load with respect to our circuit, and we need another constant block. I'll tell you why. So the terminal that is here, this will be basically the value of the resistance that we are giving. So we cannot directly connect this to this. So we need again a physical system to Simulink converter. So I'll be giving it to this point, and from that point I'll be taking it to this particular terminal. In this particular fashion, I'll be connecting it. So be very careful. So this is a physical system to a Simulink converter. So what I will be requiring is Simulink to PS converter. So what we'll be doing is copy paste this block again, and I'll be placing this. We'll be requiring this later, so copy this and place it in a separate position over here. So I'll be requiring this particular block. I'll be connecting in this particular fashion. So once this is done, I have connected 1000 ohms with respect to the variable resistor. So we need to measure the current. So we'll be measuring the current by connecting it in series with respect to the circuit, isn't it? So connect this between these 2 points, and once this is also done, we'll be measuring the voltage across these 2 points over here in this particular fashion. The ground is to be connected at this particular position. So once all of these are done, solver configuration blocks can be connected such that it touches the circuit. That's all. Any portion of the circuit, if it touches, it's more than enough. So once this connection is done, what is our next analysis that we have to do? So we have to measure the voltage and current. So at the first place, we'll be connecting it to this particular block, which is basically physical system to a Simulink converter. Give it to the scope in order to see the output voltage, and again we need to see the output current as well. So connect it at this position, and I'll be giving it to another scope. So in this particular fashion, so we'll be getting 12 volt at this point. That is, the voltage tapping at this point will be 12 volt according to our circuit. What is our next step? Now we have to design an MPPT algorithm and a boost converter as well. Let us first construct a boost converter, and then let us go to MPPT system. So what we have to do is we have to search for the components that we want. So at the first place, we'll be requiring a control voltage source. Search for control voltage source and choose the one that is there over here. Add this block, and then apart from that, we will be requiring a series RLC branch. So we'll be later converting them to inductor, capacitor and resistor respectively. Once this is done, we will be requiring a MOSFET, which is basically used as a switch. So we're not using thyristor because we need an external commutation circuit to turn them off. So you can use an IGBT as well. It totally depends on your requirement. So once this is also done, we will be requiring an voltage measurement block in order to measure the output voltage, and we'll be adding that block as well. And we need a scope in order to see the output waveform. So search for scope and add that block as well. So we have added the blocks with respect to the boost converter. So I'll be placing them in appropriate positions so that we can get started with respect to circuit diagram. So this block, basically, if you see here, it is designated by yes over here. So that means it's the signal. So we need the signal that is obtained at the output terminals with respect to the voltage that we get. So this is a voltage block that we have. So we will be taking the tapping from this particular point. So once that is done, I'll be giving it to an inductor. So double click on this, and I'll be changing it to an inductor. I have done design of a boost converter separately in both open loop and closed loop. In open loop, I have explained the design with respect to the circuit as well. So you can go through the design aspect in that particular video. It will be really helpful for you. I'll be connecting over here in this particular fashion. So once that is done, I'll be requiring a MOSFET switch. So we'll be rotating this MOSFET in this particular position. Double click on this and disable the measurement port. We don't want that. So once this is also done, I'll be connecting this between these 2 points, and I'll be connecting this over here. We'll be requiring a capacitor. So we'll be rotating this in this particular fashion, and I'll be labeling it as C. I'll be selecting the branch type as C, and I'll be giving it as 1000 microfarad, sorry. So once that is done, we will also require a diode. So search for diode. I've missed that block. Search for diode, and it will be available right at the bottom. Choose the one that is there in black. Add this block as well. So I'll be placing them in this particular position. Double click on this and disable measurement port because we don't need them. So I'll be connecting in this particular position. So once this is done, copy paste this. I'll be using a resistive load, so you can use based on your requirement. I'll be giving its value to be equal to 100 ohms. So I'll be connecting it at this point between the capacitor terminals, and we'll be measuring the voltage across the resistive load in this particular fashion. And I'll be giving you the voltage that is measured to the scope in order to see the output voltage that we are getting. So once this is done, see, we have built a solar PV system, and we have also built a boost converter in order to increase the voltage. So what is our next step? We need an MPPT algorithm, and that will be given as the gating pulses. The output of it will be given as the gating pulses. How do we achieve that? What are the blocks that are required? So we will be searching for the components that we want. Again, at the first place we want a MATLAB function, so search for MATLAB function, add that block. We also need unit delay. So there are a lot of delays, so go to discrete directly under Simulink over here, scroll a little down, and you will be having 1 by z unit delay. So choose this. So do be very careful, don't. So 1 by z is also z inverse, so if you carefully observe, z inverse blocks also will be there. So be very careful with respect to discrete domain. We have to choose this so that there will be some amount of delay that is produced. So once this is added, we will be requiring the blocks with respect to the triggering pattern, that is repeating sequence. So search for repeating sequence and add this block as well. And we also need a relational operator in order to compare it with the output that is obtained from the D terminal with respect to MPPT function. So add this block as well. So we have added the blocks with respect to this terminals. So I'll be placing them in appropriate position again. And now we will be starting off with building the MATLAB function. So this technique is with respect to MATLAB function. However, you can do the same algorithm with different techniques as well, but building it with a code is very simple, and that is why I'm going on with this. So I will be double clicking on this MATLAB function over here. What happens is that it comes to this particular portion. So this is where you have to write the code. What I'll be doing is I'll be copy pasting the code that is already there, but you have to type it. So I've already pasted the code that is required in the slide. So take a screenshot of it, type them. I'll be copy pasting the code. All right, I'll be selecting them and I'll be copy pasting in this particular fashion. And once that is done, click on run model. So it gives you an indication if there is any error with respect to the system. So if there is any error, it will show you the point or the line number in which there is an error. So we'll be clicking on run model to check if the model is running fine. So it doesn't show any error in this particular system after we have run the model. So we can close the editor. It will be taking the values v, small capital I, small I, and d is the output that we are getting. So we are getting exactly what we are supposed to get. So now what I'll be doing is voltage V that is obtained from the output voltage terminal, that is here at this point. I'll be taking this, I'll be connecting the delay between these 2 points. As I told you, V is the previous value. Delay block is usually used to hold the previous value with respect to the system. It does not take the value that is instantaneous. So this gives you the instantaneous value. It holds the previous value and it will be giving it to V. So that subtraction of V minus V will give you delta V, that is basically the current instantaneous value minus the previous value. I hope this concept is clear. So I'll be connecting the current again in this particular fashion, and I'll be giving it to the unit delay. So in this particular fashion, I'll be connecting. Again, as usual, I'll be doing the same with respect to D as well. With respect to the unit delay block in this particular fashion, I'll be connecting it over here. And once that is done, I will be taking the output tapping from this point. I'll be comparing it with a repeating sequence over here. So double click on the repeating sequence. I'll be changing the value over here. So carefully observe what are the values that I'm going to give. 0.51 divided by 1000. So once that is done, with respect to output values, it is 0, 1 and 0. So why am I giving these type of values? A lot of people will have confusion. This is basically I'm trying to generate a triangular waveform in the positive peak. So if you observe my cursor movement, carefully observe it. Let me say this is the reference with respect to a wave. So it starts from 0, goes to a maximum value, comes back to 0. That means the output values are, it starts from 0, goes to maximum value, say equal to 1, and comes back to 0. That is why it is 0 1 0. With respect to time values, what I am doing, it starts from 0, goes to a maximum value at say equal to t by 2, and comes back to 0 at a time period say equal to t. So I'm taking that as zero point 0.5 and 1. So that is t by 2 means it's basically half, isn't it? And I'm dividing the value by 1000 because I'm converting in terms of milliseconds. I hope this concept is clear. I'll be clicking on OK. Once that is done, I'll be giving the pattern to the gate signal in this particular fashion. So we have connected the circuit with respect to the MPPT. So before running this model, please make one important change. This is 100 into 10 power minus 6. And once that is done, let us click on run over here. So it does take some time for simulation to take place. So be a little patient with respect to simulating them. So the model has run and there are no errors that are thrown over here. So that means we are in the right direction with respect to the simulation. Double click on the scope and let us see the waveform. We can zoom in the waveform by clicking on this particular block. So we will zoom in this particular portion. So if you see, we are getting a DC voltage. However, the ripple is also not that high, and you're getting at an average of about 115 point something, 115 volt. So we are getting the desired output. How do we judge that? Because see, we have 12 volt at this point, and we are increasing it to a voltage of about 115 odd. So we are getting the desired output with respect to the boost operation of the circuit, and by MPPT we will be able to track maximum power with respect to the solar PV module. And that is how this particular system or this particular algorithm is really helpful. It generates the gating pulses such that it takes maximum power tapping from this particular PV solar module. So I hope the simulation of the circuit is understood and you were able to simulate them. In case you have any questions, feel free to reach out by typing in your questions in the comment section below. If you like this video, please do like it, share it, and subscribe to our channel for regular updates.